Hi, welcome back, or welcome for the first time. Here with me, Florian, your host from LifeScienceMentor.com, and today I'm talking about day 20 of the Idea Machine Challenge, and day 20 is about 15 ways to be grateful, 15 ways to improve your daily gratitude exercise, 15 ways to be happy and thankful of what is around you, in the spirit of Thanksgiving. First of all, I want to make a shout out to the channel Media Hits, who recently subscribed to this channel. And Media Hits is testing several different liquors every day. And in the spirit of that channel, here is a little bit of liquor from Erich Honecker, Chancellor of East Germany. And here he says, basically, let's build the wall. Let's build the wall. And we all know how that went. Down the drain. So, the first spiritual exercise. Now, getting to the real exercises or the real strategies how you can become more grateful. And so when you write a daily gratefulness journal, normally you have like 3 different items for which you can be grateful, right? So maybe it's getting my results, finishing my work, my morning coffee, and then having a date tonight, or something like that, right? And especially for me, but also for other gratitude journals that I read, sometimes they can become a little repetitive. That's certainly for me the case. So you always say, I'm thankful for the weather, for family and friends, and that is really good to think about these things. But I believe you can make it a little bit more specific and a little bit better, and that's what I attempt with today's video. So first of all, the first possibility is to actually think about someone who has done something nice for you in the past, right? So it could be a friend, family member, it could be a stranger who just helped you with a bag of groceries that you dropped. You can think back and then be thankful for the existence of that specific person or a situation like that, right? So for example, I'm thankful for my friend Jorge. I never told him, he was a colleague at work, and I never told him when my birthday was. Yet, he managed to figure it out and surprised me with a present. And I'm very grateful for people like Jorge, right? So that's an example. You can be grateful for something that someone has done for you in the past. Then the second point is being specific. So that's very important. So instead of being thankful for the weather, you can be definitely thankful for that. You could also be thankful for the weather here in New York City, which is very humid in summer and very chill in winter. And specifically, this city has the ideal climate for me. So not everyone would say New York City has a great climate, but when I was in high school and then in college, I played in an orchestra, and we would go travel over Europe in summer. And often we would go to a country at the Mediterranean coast. And it was always warm there, and there was always water nearby. So being in New York in summer, and thanks to the New York weather almost like around the year, I feel like a little bit as if I would be in holiday in the Mediterranean country, right? So, and another example is when there's a day where there's raining and the sun is out, like both kind of mixed, then you can be thankful for a very specific situation where the sun comes out through the clouds, right? And that almost always seems like magic to me. Like there's rain clouds, the rain stops, and then the sun shows up. And that's a special moment. So I'm thankful for that. And I'm also thankful for fall, since the leaves are just turning red, brown, yellow. It's beautiful if you think about it. So that's something to be grateful for as well. That's more specific than just saying, I'm thankful for the weather. Then number 3 is simplicity. So if you think about lots of events that we have a very complex underpinning. David Eagleman talked about that in his book Incognito, where the thoughts we have, and I discussed it in the previous blog post as well, the thoughts that we have, that we consciously think we have, are all but the tip of the iceberg, and the vast amount of thinking is done by our subconscious mind. The same way, things that we are conscious about have a complex machinery underneath. For example, you wake up in the morning, you open your eyes, and that's like one snap second. But for that to happen, you have to have a whole orchestra of function assembled in your mind. So the whole physiology of your body changes when you go from sleeping to waking. And that has to be done in a blink of an eye, basically, right? So even starting with the fact that that the neurons that are active during sleep have to step back a little bit, sort of, and then other neurons that are all of a sudden regulating movements, they have to become accessible by conscious decision. So, and first of all, the muscles have to be pulled that open the eyelids, and all these different functions, they are executed as in a blistering, is that the word? In a astonishing display of precision. If you think about that, one simple moment like opening your eyes is so complex that you can really be thankful for that is installed in our bodies and that works so easily. That would be number 3. Go back to simplicity and realize that many of those simple things are actually the result of like well-refined, well-oiled machinery that just works in the background and does our bidding without us even knowing. Number 4, visualize past experiences and determine your state. So every experience we make, it affects our emotions, right? So if we do something that's fun to us, we're happy. If we do something that's a drag, we get unhappy. So if you visualize past experiences where you are really happy, then you can transport them and apply them to the current experience. One example is there is an Italian bakery called Veniero's in New York City. It's on 12th Street and 2nd Avenue. I mean, if you're in New York City, you want to have good cannoli, stop by Veniero's. They have great stuff. And when I discovered that, somebody gave me the advice to go there. And when I discovered that, I was reminded to my childhood in Germany, where Germans are very big on pastry. And so cannoli is more Italian, but it's close enough to German that I made this association, right? I felt happy because these cannoli elicited memories of the past. And you know, we always had something nice to eat at home. And I always felt like sheltered at home. So all these feelings came back, or from celebrations that I had with the family. That all came back by seeing these cannoli made here. So I was very thankful for that. And when you think about more of these positive experiences in the past, then you can apply that to things that happen in the present. And then you also learn to control your state. But first of all, you can be grateful. And Mike Cernovich talked about like whole swath of exercises to control your state in Gorilla Mindset. The most important thing is that you have a memory of these positive states, and if you practice that specifically, you can see that there are many situations right now that you can be thankful because they may remember you and may remind you of something that happened in the past and that you felt very good about. So that's another way to be thankful. The next point, can you be happy for negative things as well, right? I talked about that in Reframing Hard Gratitude Problems when I started this series. Basically, you reframe a negative experience in a positive one, right? Classic, I hate the commute, but I don't hate it because it's good, because I can sit down, I can read, and I can start talking to people. So the same way you can also think about other negative experiences and be thankful for them, reframe them. Another example done by Louis C.K. that who said that he's astonished how people are impatient for getting internet on the flight and are upset if they don't have internet access in the airplane. All the while you sit there 10,000 feet above the ground with like a murderous velocity moving forward, almost as fast as the sound of speed, almost as fast as the sound of as the speed of sound, right? And you completely forget that. Meanwhile, only thing you focus on, or some people focus on, is that this whole flight is not as convenient as they would like it to be, right? So think back, what is really behind the situation that you're just witnessing, and then see what is good for that, and then be thankful for that. Then track your days and observe the transition between tasks. So if you ever made a to-do list, then between the items, you either just take a breather, walk around, do something else, or you listen to music, or you read a book, or run an errand, talk to someone. Or maybe you don't have these breaks. Maybe you prefer to just work, and then while you work on one thing, you just fade over into the next item already until you have everything done at the end of the day. That can also be so, but then always recall how you felt during these time intervals, right? Are you happy you got something done? Or are you sad the activity is over? And when I personally finish a track, some item that I had, I feel a sense of accomplishment. So I'm always thankful for that. So a source for thankfulness could also be over the day between tasks. Then the absence of pain. So if you get sick, you realize you have some sort of organs here. For example, if your teeth are aching, then you realize all of a sudden the teeth are there. You wouldn't even think about them if everything was fine. And I'm actually happy that they took my gallbladder out. I had gallstones in the past, and that was an excruciating pain. So I can actually be thankful for not having a gallbladder anymore. I can also be thankful for right now that my teeth are fine and they're not aching, right? So often we take things for granted just because they only come back to us when they're really bad. So be thankful for these things not causing any havoc and wreaking any havoc on you. So you can be thankful for the absence of pain. You can also flesh out your life vision. And that's important, because with all these videos, get rich quick, get a fit body, get girls, get friends, be amazing, do like amazing adventures, and all these things are very nice, but we're bombarded with these messages from morning to late. And for some people, that's just not what they want. So you have to think about if that's really what you want in life. Maybe your life vision is already some point where you're already there. Maybe you want nothing more than just work a little job that makes you a living, and then spend the rest of the day and the weekend with your family. Or with your friends. Take tours like Aaron Clarey has talked about that quite a bit in his book, Bachelor Pad Economics, and also in some YouTube videos where he said, in one video I remember he was just on the top of a mountain and said, you know, if you just take normal financial precautions and just be careful to not fuck up, then you can also experience this great nature and you don't need to be super rich for that. You can already experience greatness with friends together, and it's actually not that difficult, right? So first of all, think about yourself, what you really want of life, and don't feel bad if you don't want like to be like a multi-millionaire somewhere living the high life, because that you will also have less time for friends and family, at least until you build up your business, and that can be a very lonely path from time. And so you have to be really clear if you want that, and don't search for happiness in areas that you don't really want to invest in, right? Because you can only go full in on whatever you want, right? So if you realize that what you want is just have a very normal life, there's nothing bad with that. In fact, you'll be 1,000 steps ahead of most of people if you manage to just find happiness right there where you are. So that's number 7. Number 8 is meditation and presence. So I recently did some meditation using headspace.com, and so you have like 10 days of 10-minute meditation, and 15 minutes and 20 minutes meditation if you go through their 30-day pre-seminar. And what this taught me is that we are constantly attacked by a barrage of ideas, and they're always in our mind. And when we try to just push them away or react to them, we only make it worse. So what you want is to just lean back and just let those thoughts and ideas pass you by, like heavy traffic. And then when the traffic lights a little bit, then you pass the street. And that's how you want to think about doing things. So don't worry about the constant noise and chatter of all these ideas in your mind. No, you just lean back and let go. Don't try to force the traffic to stop. Just let go and then slowly walk across the street when there's no cars, right? The same way you can learn to be very present, whatever you do. For example, if you wash the dishes, you focus on washing the dishes. You don't focus on what you could do afterwards. You just focus on what you're doing in the very moment. And for that, you can develop an immense sense of happiness and gratitude, because that's all you're doing right there. You're focusing on one thing. You're lost to the world. You do the dishes. And if you do it actively and with presence, that is something that can make you very, very happy, because you choose to not listen to all the incessant chatters of different ideas and talking bubbles and whatever we have in our mind. So much so that it's difficult for me to do that. I have to admit that. I have so many things going on in my mind all the time. It's difficult to step back and just shut it out. But it's helpful from time to time. So definitely try that. And with that connected is also the fact, don't have any expectations. Focus on what you can control. So for example, if you work on a project, you can control to do the work to your best of knowledge with your best effort, and then be done with it. Of course, there are boundaries. Your employer or your customer, your client, asks you to do the work in a different way. And he asks you because you're able to deliver that way. So you do the work, deliver it the way the customer wants, and don't expect the customer to be happy about it. I mean, you can hope for, you can do your best to increase the chances that the majority of your customers are happy. But there will always be customers that are not happy, not being satisfied. So don't expect to satisfy everyone. Don't expect anything, in fact. Just do your work, get paid, and that's it. And that goes together with developing presence and meditation even, because you teach yourself to only focus on what you have right here. And you don't have any further expectations that cloud your mind. So that's something very very, very important, because the more least expectations you have, that doesn't mean having no expectations doesn't mean not giving a crap about whatever you do. No, it means completely focus on the work at hand. But don't expect anything, just focus on the work and then deliver it, and then let the others decide what they want to do with it. If they are not friendly to you, then you just never choose that customer, to work with the customer again. Very simple. Just don't expect anything, just focus on your work, and you'll be successful, and you'll be grateful. Number 10, talk to friends. So sometimes we bang ourselves up about events that happened in the past, and we are our worst judges, right? So if we can talk to friends, they can remind us that actually the failure that we think is a failure was actually a pretty big success. We just judge ourselves too strongly, right? So talk to friends, and they'll help you seeing a different side of things, and then you can be grateful for that as well. Then number 11, strive for acting on one or two of the items you have on your list. So if you never act on the list, it's just like some bubbly words that you write down, right? So you want to anchor that gratitude into your life back as well. So either you write about things that really happened, like getting my paper accepted, something I'm grateful for, and that has just happened to us, right? Other parts, for example, if I say I'm happy about the weather and the beautiful fall in New England, then one idea what I did was go outside and take a photo. Take some photos, right? So that's how I utilize my gratefulness for this fall and turn it over into actually taking action taking action on it. And it's important to have that gratitude more present in your life than not just some distant words. Number 12, give so you receive. So if you give value to others, if you are truly altruistic, if you are doing something for others, and think about that first before asking for money, then you, on the long run, you will be happier, and sooner or later you will receive some positive reactions. Now, I don't say do it for free, right? Of course, get paid for what you do, but don't think you're doing something just to receive the money. Do it first, and that ties back in what I said before. Focus on your work, and then focus on giving that work to others, right? And that way you'll be happier because you gave something, and B, sooner or later you receive some positive reactions. Now, what happens here is the following. Imagine you're super rich, and then you'll give money away, and it doesn't really hurt you in any way, right? You have an abundant life, at least what concerns money. Your life is abundant, not living a life of scarcity. So it works the other way around as well, right? If you are giving, then your mind will think, well, if we are giving so much away for free, then that means we must have a lot. We must have a big reservoir from which we can take. And literally, I have realized that when I gave something, that my mind changed into something, well, I gave something away, that means where I took that from, there's so much more of that, right? So you want to give first, and then you will receive, and be grateful for that. Number 13, become a minimalist. Talked about that in one of the days before, where I identified 10 items I could give away. So the more we give away, the more stuff we give away. First of all, we share it with others. We give something away, what I just said. And then we lighten the load on our minds. And we are focusing on a few things. Being present on a few things. We're not distracted by all the other clutter in our life. We are focusing. And those items that we keep, they are really valuable to us. So we focus on something that really means something to us. And that is what minimalism does to you. And besides, as Aaron Clarey said, machines, video game consoles don't replace human interactions, right? That's the most important part in life, other humans. So minimalism is one way to get there. Because you just remove all your obligations. You don't need to buy stuff. As Tyler Durden in Fight Club said, buying stuff you can't afford with money you don't have to please people that you don't like. Something like that, right? And that's really a big sham. It's just a money-burning scam to buy more stuff. You don't need more stuff. You just need to be hanging out with other people and focusing on that. What lets you maintain your lifestyle, and make that lifestyle one that you really like, and not where you have to think you have to fulfill some obligations to others. That's not the lifestyle you want. You want a lifestyle where you do things that are important to you, and where you can practice abundance, right? Where you can instill this mindset of abundance further in your mind. Become a minimalist. Number 14. Look at your environment. So while I was writing this, there was some kind of emergency across the street, and there was one fire truck and 2 emergencies stopping. And I went down to check out what it is, and at that point the fire truck pulled away, and one of the two emergency vehicles pulled away. So you can be very thankful that for the occasion where you fall sick, there's 3 emergency vehicles coming for you. That's number 1. You can be grateful that when I was downstairs, I realized my mailbox was like the lock on my mailbox was loose, so I fixed it. That was the second thing I could be grateful for. When I went back up, I realized that since there's no elevator in this building, I always train my legs when moving up and down, and that's actually something great as well. Number 14. So now the last point really is some old tradition I have from Germany. So it's the tea penguin. So actually, what this does is here's a stopwatch, right? So what you do is you pull it up. You just put you just adjust the clock like for 3 minutes. Then you have your tea bag here and your tea, right? And then once the 3 minutes are over, see, it drags the tea bag out. Isn't it fantastic? This thing drags the tea bag out, and then if you make yourself some tea, then you realize that, well, you forget about the tea in the kitchen and your tea bag stays in there forever and your tea is bitter in the end. So that will just never happen with this penguin. And that's just one of the best possessions I ever had. That's one of the few items that are important to me. So I can be thankful for that. Even though I drink a lot of coffee, I still drink tea, and that is a good companion to take care of that. All right? Thank you very much for listening. If you have some additional ideas how to be grateful, I'd be happy to hear them. And if not, enjoy your Black Friday. If there was some deal for you, it's great. If not, just celebrate the weekend still in the Thanksgiving spirit. And have a great weekend. And have a great start in the next week. But I hope I can see you again tomorrow. All right? Take care.